That was great. All right, so here we are at the culmination of our month-long abundance program. It's been good. It's gone by quick, if you ask me. If you have it in here, here's the, you too, Richard?
Yes.
Here's the quick recap. Week 1 was all about Ross's song. We didn't quite say it that way, but really it is that way. How great thou art. There is only one source. By whatever name you call it, the one source provides everything already. And the topic that day was it's already there. Just reminding us that this one source, call it God, it already is. It is right here where I am. And then I speak my word for all the resources I could ever possibly need. The second week, that idea of speaking my word for all the resources I could ever need, what that requires us to do on a personal level is to be able to believe that truth. To say that there's one source, to believe that that one source created me, that's maybe a little bit easier, but then to take the next step and say, and all that I need is available to me, takes a little bit of believing to receive, and that's what it was. Believe to receive, that we must get it in our head first. That's the first cause of everything, is our belief system. Even the master teacher Jesus taught us that it's done unto us as we believe, it's done unto us according to our faith. And that's what we say is the starting point, not the effects of our life, not the stuff, but the belief of our life. And then last week we said, and we need to keep expanding that. So whatever level of belief we might have today, tomorrow let's expand it, and let's expand it, and let's expand it to the biggest container that we can imagine. One of the visuals I gave last week is I had containers all around me, and I had a little tiny Tupperware about yay big, and then I had a really big Tupperware type bin. Today's the perfect day to say this, to remind us that if I wanted to catch rainwater to water, say, my houseplants, the little tiny one is only going to hold so much of that water, whereas obviously the great big bin is going to hold a whole lot more. So putting out the container for us to catch our good is something we need to do. Unfortunately, in this world, we're often taught, don't expect too much. Don't ask for too much. Who are you to ask for too much? Inflection intended. The bigger bucket is, that's really the truth. We have to offer that bigger bucket. Then I also reminded us that if we have a big bucket full of whatever, love, money, rainwater, doesn't matter, we also have more to share. So if I wanted to share with somebody, if I have this little bucket, I might be afraid to share very much because it looks like I don't have much. Isn't that the way so many people live? I don't have very much, so I can't share it. But if I've got this great big container to share from, now it's a little easier. Oh, look, here, yes, of course I want to share. And I also reminded us that as we take out to share, we are not without, because now look at all the room for the goodness of God to fill it back up. And I reminded us we cannot outgive God. And so what I was really talking about was the law of circulation. Being able to give and being able to receive. Being able to give and being able to receive. Trusting that that one source is all the resources that we will ever need. Today, we're coming to the table. Coming to the table, coming to God's table. So we're moving a little bit off of the container, but it still is going to make sense. And it moves us into our last day. So we're invited to the table. Oh, I forgot to do that one PowerPoint. Let me go back. I wanted to finish the recap with this. If one desires to receive, one must first give. This is called profound understanding. Lao Tzu is the creator of the Tao, which is my second favorite philosophy. If one desires to receive, one must first give. This is called profound understanding. That was to finish my recap. Now we'll go back to the table. Ernest Holmes says this: when we learn to trust the universe. Remember, when Ernest Holmes uses the word universe, he's not talking about the galaxies, although that is included in what he means. He's talking about the one song, the universe. He's really talking about God. It's just another name for God. When we learn to trust the universe, when we learn to trust God's good, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under that divine government and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. nature's table, God's table, is ever filled. There's an American actress named Rosalind Russell. Anybody remember Rosalind Russell? Kind of dates. Yes, it does. Rosalind Russell said in one of her, I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly which one, but it doesn't matter. She actually wrote a biography with this same title. Life is a banquet, and most of these poor suckers are starving to death. She wrote a book called Life is a Banquet. But just listen to how that parallels with what we teach. Life is a banquet, and most of these poor suckers are starving to death. There's no reason for us to be starving to death. And she doesn't literally mean just food, of course. Anything that we could want. Life is a banquet. There's no reason for us to be starving for anything. Old tapes, old teachings, old perceptions, and old beliefs are the thing that keep us hungry, are the things that keep us lacking and starving. But spiritually, there's absolutely no reason for it. What a wonderful perspective. Do we look at life with that perspective? Do we look at life as a banquet of limitless good? Or do we look at it as limitation? Do we see it only like this? Oh, that will never happen, and that's so bad. And do we have this limited vision going on? Or do we remember to say, life is a banquet? Life is a banquet. Everywhere I look, there's good and bad. Bless you. That's the perspective of remembering to look at it that way. It's kind of like the old thing, is the glass half full, or the glass half empty. How are we looking at that? That life is a banquet. But this is what our philosophy says over and over in some way, shape, or form, that we must be the one to go to the table. We must go to the banquet table. We must look at all the choices, and we must choose. We must choose. We must welcome it in, because, gosh, in the infinite, every possibility is there. And we're not going to be able to let every infinite possibility come at us all at once. That'd be a little bit overwhelming. So we're going to choose from the banquet table what we want. But we need to go to the banquet table. This is a really, really important part of this thing, going to the table. You are worthy of going to that table. You are worthy of having every good thing you want. And I know that there's a lot of hangover messages from childhood. I already did a little bit of it. But that thing of, who do you think you are? You don't deserve that. Here's how you know, or one of the ways you can know, about your own willingness to feel that you're worthy, or your own deservingness. Check your judgments on other people. If you find yourself saying to somebody else, you don't deserve it, chances are you've got some of that hanging out for yourself. If you find yourself judging somebody else in that kind of manner, chances are some of it's a hangover for you. I can tell really quick, I guess that judgment I just said about that person is probably a little bit of my own unworthiness. So whatever messages we may have received about worthiness or deserving, it's time to let them go. It's time to let them just dissolve into the nothingness. Easier said than done, I know. If you've got really, really stuck worthiness issues, they don't always want to release. But it's time to let those unworthiness issues go. And let the new messages be, I am worthy. I deserve to step up to the banquet table. Why? Because of who I am. I'm a child of God. You don't have to earn it. I know that goes against so many other things that we were taught. We have to take some action to have good in our life, yes. But earn it as if somehow I'm not worthy and I have to beg God for it. No. Because we are children of God, because we are creations of God itself, we don't have to earn it. It simply already is ours, but we need to step up and choose it. Another very important thing I must say today is that this philosophy, remember, does not say that you can have anything you want. It says you can have anything that you can believe in and embody and receive. Now that is why I do counseling, and so do all my practitioners. And that is why we teach classes, to get us to understand that we can embody as we go along. But you don't just get to say, I want this, and then it comes.